Hey, and welcome to Chat Shit Get Well, first episode. Sorry I sound a bit like Frank Butcher. It's not the steroids. I am actually ill right now. I know the irony, chat shit, get well. And I'm ill, but I will chat shit, so we will go from there. Today, I've got Chorley here, and he won his physique class at the GBA bodybuilding show. And what date was it?
The 17th, 18th of November.
Yeah, it was, no, not November, last month. It was last month, yeah. It was last month. It was October. Anyway, when you presented your award, your coach, Matt, came onto stage and made a really nice speech about your recovery and how you've improved as a person, how you've obviously got away from your addiction. So, yeah, I just wanted to have a really nice chat with you about that today and talk about how bodybuilding in particular has helped you keep on a straight and narrow path.
Yeah.
So how has it?
So basically, really, I've always been quite athletic and sporty from a young age. I've always played football, boxed. Unfortunately, with alcohol and addiction, that came into play and sort of messed around a little bit. But I eventually got I broke my leg and I stopped playing football. I snapped my leg, tibia and fibula, and shattered my ankle. Stopped playing football. I tried to play football 6 months later. I couldn't. So I actually got into the gym when I was about 20, 28, 29, something like that. 27, I can't remember roughly.
Yeah.
I got into it then with one of my friends, Jason. He doesn't train anymore, but he got me right into it. And I was like a stick, basically. So it was... it's sort of nice to get back into that sort of sport environment, you know, and it's nice to be in certain gyms that people... you know, sort of talk to you, and it feels like you're like in that family environment that you're around people that, you know, are interested in the same thing, really.
Yeah, and so when you say you used to train, were you into bodybuilding from an early age, or is that something you've discovered? What is your age now?
I'm 38 now.
So this was your first bodybuilding show, wasn't it? It was your first bodybuilding competition, first time on stage. So what sort of made you decide that you're going to push from just training in the gym to, I'm going to go on stage?
I don't. To be honest with you, I don't. I've had Matt as my coach for nearly 2 years now, but obviously I sort of was up and down with the alcohol and the drugs, so it never sort of pushed me on to do it. I wanted to do it because I said to Matt, I really wanted to do it. I wanted to. So I basically feel like I've achieved something, because obviously when you're in that sort of spiral of alcohol and addiction. You basically, no one ever tells you you're proud of yourself, so it's hard really for me to, when people say that they're proud of me, but now I'm taking it on board. So when I'd done it and I actually wanted to achieve something by doing bodybuilding, so it was nice to get an achievement. But like I said, but the main reason why I wanted to do it is to show people really that there's a way out of these dark times, that, you know, from, you know, drink and drugs, basically.
Yeah. Do you feel like it gave you like a real good... I mean, being on prep myself, I've done it. I know how difficult it is, even without an addiction. Yeah. You know, it's hard. It's hard on your family. It's hard on your friends. It's hard on your work. It's hard on everything. So also fighting an addiction at that time, because... you know, what everyone will say, if once you're an addict, you're an addict. You know what I mean? Regardless if you're still taking or you're not, you're still always going to have that temptation to take you back to drugs and alcohol. So to be able to commit yourself to, how long was your prep? Sorry.
What, for the show?
For the show, yeah.
10 weeks we had, 10 weeks.
I mean, that's quite a short prep, to be fair. But I mean, even, you know, just the schedules, the going to the gym, the diet and stuff like that. Would you say that really sort of gave you a goal to work towards, that made you... kept you away from having like maybe negative thoughts or anything like that?
Yeah, it definitely helps. It helps a lot. I find for me, I like to have routine. It's very nice to have routine in my life. If I don't have routine and structure, then that's when the mind starts to go. Yeah. So it's nice to have that, but obviously with the coaching side of it, when you've got someone alongside you who knows what they're doing and they've got the experience and the knowledge, that helps massively for me, because it saves me sitting down and research. Someone's doing it for me. Yeah. So it's nice. And like you said, it keeps my mind, because my mind's overactive with my ADHD as well, which just goes mad, as you know. Yeah. And it's good to have that sort of, I don't know, it's
guidance?
Nice. Yeah. It's nice to have that in the... I don't know. I mean, when I look back now of photos of myself to what I was to where I am now, it's amazing really to see what I've achieved in so little time, because it's coming up to like 6 months now. And, you know, when, like I said, 2 years, I had Matt and obviously prior to that, he's like, look, you need to get yourself sorted out. So
yeah.
I eventually got myself sorted out, phoned him up, sent him some photos, and he was just like, whoa, you're ready.
Yeah, and it sounds like, to be honest, you've obviously picked it up really fast and got yourself in the right frame of mind. I remember previously I did have a conversation with you about, you said you sort of kind of tried to battle your addiction previously, but fell back into the addiction. And I think that's really important to tell people, you know, you might fail 3 or 4 times, but that doesn't mean you're going to fail forever. And to be able to come through and push yourself to that point where you're actually on stage in front of everyone, presenting yourself in the way you did, it's a massive achievement. And you should be so proud of that, definitely. Do you think that sports has had an impact on your mental health? Like, when you've gone through good stages in your life, have you always found that sports have been alongside that? Like, because you said you were like athletic boxing, things like that. Yeah,
definitely. For me, like I said, I just find when you sat at home and you're watching TV and you're watching Netflix, and it's just the same repetitive things. But when you're in sports, or when you're trying to achieve something like a goal, you know, like a game of football, you want to win a game, you actually want something out of it. So for me, for example, when I'm at the gym, when I'm training in the gym, when I'm doing weights, I know that I'm going to get something out of it because I know I'm going to build muscle. So it's like an end goal to me.
Yeah.
But for the cardio side of it, like the running,
yeah, no, cardio is not for me, definitely not. Yeah, obviously like short-term goals, basically. So with sports, it's easy to see those. Like you say, you win a match. You can go to the gym, you can track your weights. You can say, I've done 8 reps at this weight. Next week, I'm going to do 10 reps at this weight. So for me, I get that little buzz off knowing I've beat myself every single week. And I might see like a little like muscle pop in the, you know, in the mirror. And you're like, okay, I'm glad I came today. I'm glad I did. Or even those conversations that happen in the gym. You meet so many people. I have met so many inspirational, what the word?
People.
Inspirational. That's the one. People in the gym, and they've helped me so much. Like, I've grown from meeting people in the gym. It's my church. It's literally my church. I go there every day. I say thank you. I'm so grateful that I meet the people that I meet. I'm grateful for the facilities I can use, and I leave every day feeling good about myself. How long have you struggled with addiction from an early age, or?
I don't know. It goes quite deep, to be honest with you. When I go back to like when I was a child, I was I don't know. We lived like a normal lifestyle with family, nice holidays, mum and dad work, no problems. But I wear contact lenses, so you know, 20, 30 years ago, glasses were like that. So
I remember Milky Bar kid, wasn't it? When he didn't have them.
Funny you should say that. I had jet blonde hair and I went for auditions for the Milky Bar Kids.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah, my parents forced me to do it.
I thought he was cute, but I can see it wasn't the coolest look, was it?
No, as you can tell. And then obviously, I sort of, it's hard because back then, like sports, back then with glasses, you couldn't really do a lot. You know, I tried to play football once and I had a glass in my eye and like my cheek, sorry. So it was very difficult to get involved with it. So you sort of feel a bit left out. So I still think from this day, that's where it spurs on from a little bit, from being left out a little bit, from not being able to. Yeah, definitely resentments there. A lot of resentments built back from that. But the addiction, I mean, I suppose a lot of it is, I can't really explain what it is. It's probably a lot of it is just boredom and being a bit self-centered and doing what I want to do, really.
Yeah, bit of self-destruct.
Definitely. So, I mean, I to the point like, towards like the back end of last year, this year, I was using to try and die, basically.
Right.
I wasn't strong enough not strong enough. That's not the word. I wasn't. I couldn't commit suicide. I tried it twice. Don't get me wrong. Take tablets and things like that, and tried to cut my wrist once, but I've never gone much further. Do you know what I mean? It's always something to stop me. But I'll try and use.
What is it you were using at those times for that purpose?
I was just generally using a lot of cocaine and alcohol. Yeah, and it's amazing how much it does destruct your life. It makes you worse. If you're depressed, it makes you a lot worse than what you are. It's crazy how bad it makes you feel.
Yeah. So what made you get into the situation where you first were involved around being around cocaine and stuff like that, was it?
Oh, blimey. Well, it goes back when I was 15, 16. I was going out and, dropping ecstasy tablets left, right and centre, and then it just spurred on from that, really.
Yeah.
And then it just become a bit of an issue. Do you know what I mean? Like,
even from the age of like sort of 16?
Nah, not. I'd say probably in my late 20s. That's when it started, mainly more.
Okay.
But it's mostly, like my wife were chatting about it last night, and if someone was doing it in front of me now, it wouldn't be a problem. But if I have a drink, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? If drugs are in front of me now, I'll be like, yeah, you do what you want to do. That's fine. I haven't got an issue. I have a couple of pints and then that's
Different
it.
story.
I'm off.
Game over.
Yeah. So that's the problem.
And a lot of people say that's the entry, isn't it? The entry to drugs is drink. So they can't do one without the other.
Yeah.
And I personally, I've come to a couple of situations in my life where I've been like, I actually need to stop drinking, because it's every time I drink, I will end up getting on it. And and I hate myself for it.
Yeah.
And as much as I understand addiction, and I don't personally feel I've had an addiction, there has been times it's become almost worrying, where I thought, actually, this could turn very, very quickly. Now it's time for me to pull this back. Yeah. And luckily for me, I have been able to pull myself back from those moments without sort of really needing any therapy, so to speak. But I've started to realise this isn't making me feel good anymore. No. There's a certain part where you can go to a party, you can take some drugs, you can have a drink, you can have a good time, you can walk away and you can have a normal life. But then it sort of gets to a point where you're chasing it, constantly chasing to feel better. And it's just depleting you lower and lower and lower. And that's, for me, it's definitely been a challenge that I've had. And I still have those challenges occasionally where I'm like, come on, you're an adult, grow up. You've got to think about other things. You've got a job, you've got a house, you've got children, you've got like priorities now. So I know you're actually you go to some groups and stuff, like support groups, don't you?
Yeah. So I go to a group, it's basically this, they call it CA, which is Cocaine Anonymous. It's the same, it's a foundation off the back of Alcoholics Anonymous. So it's exactly the same thing. Yeah. You've got CA, NA, you've got all of them. So I started off, I was doing six meetings a week, obviously training as well. But it's saved my life, really. Obviously my partner has as well, because she stuck with me through like thick and thin. Like, she's just moved over from America, and I'd disappear for 3 days, I wouldn't talk to her, she would know. And it's I've got a lot of gratitude for, I feel guilty for it, don't get me wrong, of course I do. There's a lot of guilt in it, but it's I heard something the other day about it, and I stick by it. The old saying, when people say, forgive and forget, you never forget.
Yeah. You
can forgive, but every time I remember the forgiveness, so every time something bad comes up, I always just try and forgive, because I'm never going to forget it. Like, things I've done wrong, I'm never going to get them. You never do. People go, oh yeah, it's all right, but you don't forget it personally.
Yeah.
So I've got to try and remind myself daily, really, the things I've done, and just try and become a better person, really, for what I've done, because it's all, like you said, it's a mistake, it's a learning curve, but at the age of nearly 40, you'd think I'd have grown up by now.
There's still a lot to learn about life. I think life begins at 40. That's what I'm waiting for anyway. But I'm the best I've been. I'm almost 40, and do you know what, I can't wait to hit 40. 2 years, I'm the best. Mental health is the best. My physical health, I'm confident, I'm gobby, like, I love myself, I'm happy, and I'm so grateful for the life I have. I hated my 30s, I hated my 20s. I never knew who I was. So there's nothing wrong with starting your life at 40, definitely not, especially in the fitness world as well. All of us looking good up there. Some of them, the Olympians and that, they're, some of them are in their 40s and they look incredible, But I know you said about your support system with your wife, and you obviously going to your support groups and stuff like that. It is hard to see what's going on behind the scenes when someone's going through the addiction stages and stuff. You sort of see the fall of those, but you don't actually notice what's happening behind the scenes and the damage that goes on behind, to the rest of the family and stuff. And having someone there to support you through that obviously, like I said, you're so grateful for that. Sorry. But obviously there are people out there that haven't got those support systems and stuff. So what would be your message to say, for someone that hasn't got that?
Just just don't be scared. Just shout. Really, it's I always, like the thing is, it was. I always remember the first day I walked in the room, and I walked to the meeting, and luckily it was one of my friends. He took me. I phoned him up, like crying my eyes out. He said, "Right, you need to get to a meeting. I'll take you to a meeting." He's been clean for like 12 months. He drinks alcohol, but he doesn't touch drugs anymore. So he took me, and I went to a meeting, and it was just it felt like a blessing in disguise, really. Like I was meant to be there, but. I just can't believe, like, the hardest part of it was, like, saying at the meetings, you have to say your name and then you're an alcoholic and an addict. And that to me was like lifting a ton of bricks off your neck.
Okay,
just like a massive release, like, fucking hell, I've said it.
Accepted.
Do you know what I mean? I've said that I've got a fucking problem here.
But I think as well, you're in a room where there's no judgment.
No, there's no judgment in these rooms. It'd be very difficult
to sit in a room of people that you like that don't have addictions or that might not, and then, I'm addicted. Like I'm an addict or this and this. So, for someone that doesn't have any other support systems to go into a group like that would, I'm assuming, be quite not a nice place, but a safe place.
It is a safe place because it's one of the nice. I'll tell you what, it's when people go to the pub and they think, oh yeah, that's my local. You'll get more love in these rooms. It doesn't matter about your religious background, your ethnic background. It doesn't matter what you look like, what money you've got, nothing. And you walk in the room, there's people hugging you and asking you for your number. And then you'll get 20 phone calls the following day asking how you are, how's your head, how's things. And that's what people should be doing day to day.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, I'd walk down the road and people would say morning to each other. Don't do that anymore. No. It's very rare.
You go around your neighbour's house for a cup of tea.
There you go.
My neighbours, when I grew up, we lived in Netherfield, which is one of the roughest estates in Milton Keynes. Really? But we had such a nice community. Everyone's front door was open. We'd have dinner together. The kids, we all played together. They'd go out on the street, they'd call your name when the lights were going off, you'd all run home. And we were just everywhere, it was such a lovely community. And I do believe, there is a lot of breakdown now. People don't want to talk as much. People don't want to talk face to face, definitely. More social media and over the phones and things like that. So I did an event with the Man Cave, which is Milton Keynes men's mental health group. And for me, being around a group of, I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit, not strange. I wasn't used to seeing, there was 10 guys talking about their emotions. And I was like a bit taken back, and I was sort of like, wow, this is actually really nice and a bit emotional, because I thought they were just so open and the way they were talking to each other in such a caring way was just so nice to be around, because I'd never experienced men openly talking like that and supporting each other. And that's why I would just really encourage men to go to these groups, whether it be CA, AA, even, the Man Cave isn't necessarily for people that have just got addictions. It might be people that have been through trauma. It might be people that are just struggling in their jobs. It might be people that just don't know where to socialise, that isn't in a drinking environment, because a lot of men do socialise in the pub. Or in sports. But, some people might not feel comfortable to go to the gym, and things like that. So, what was I going to say? What is the, what would you say was your lowest point?
God, blimey. Well, I tell everyone this story. Lowest point really was, when was it, my nan died? 2 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah, so 2 years ago, my nan passed away. Her birthday's the day before mine.
Oh, sorry about that.
Right. And, that's all right. I still struggle with it now. And
you're very close then. Yeah.
And I was just using and drinking too much, and I got to the point where it was I was passing blood both ends.
Oh God.
I lost a lot of weight. I wasn't eating, wasn't working. It was just getting too much, and there's just almost like a light switch moment. I remember it now to this day. I was in my bathroom at home, and I looked in the mirror, and for some reason my head just went out, and I looked in the mirror, and I just, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And then that was it. And I've it's just it all spurs back to the story of how me and Tiffany have met, and I feel she set all of this up for me. She really has, and it's
How did you meet? Were you
Well, basically my nan passed, and then obviously I'd had that moment, and I went sober for 2 months on my own.
Amazing.
And then I flew out to Italy and seen my mate at his wedding, and then my missus was in Italy with her friends, and we've met each other, and we've spoke and talked, and she's from America obviously, and we stayed in contact, and the story's just never ending about how we met. And
do you believe that was meant to happen?
Yeah,
it was a meant to be moment.
Definitely, yeah. She's my angel in disguise.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. That's so nice. She's a saviour.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, the day we flew back, and we tell the story all the time, don't we? It's so yeah, we met, and then 2 days later, we're both flying out of the airport the same day, same airport, but different destination, same time. And then I'm going up the escalator, ringing her, and then she's behind me to the right, and it's like, well, she could have been anywhere in Italy, any airport, but no, she's there. Do you know what I mean? And it's nice that you've not met someone swiping right. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
It's like an old school meet.
Don't get me started on internet dating. That's a whole new podcast. That is, Jesus.
Yeah.
So obviously you've met your wife. You're in a really happy place. You've got everything you want at that point.
100%. Yeah.
So you then found yourself falling back into old behaviours.
Habits. Yeah.
Even though you've pretty much got everything you want there. So do you know what triggered those relapses?
I think a lot of it is like I've said to her as well. Like it's when, because I'd go to America, and then I'd come back, and then I'm like, oh, here we go, back home on my own. No one's here. No one loves me. No one cares about.
Okay, so it's when you were sort of half apart.
Yeah. But now, and then obviously it didn't help. New Year's Eve, one New Year's Eve, I drank far, because when I drink, I don't, like, basically if they're pouring 1 pint, I'll order 2. That one's gone.
Yeah.
That one's gone, and then the second one's on the bar ready. So yeah, it's got a bit too much. I drank too much, and it's I didn't realise, to be honest. I just thought it was normal being English. Do you know what I mean? We like to drink, and that's it.
That's the culture, yeah.
Yeah.
And you are considered a bit of a weirdo, to be honest, if you don't. And I've had that opinion of people now. But you know what? So many people now I look at and I think, do you know, I'd love to be like you.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people that have had addictions and have pulled their lives and turned them completely round, achieving well in their jobs, in their relationships, in their like careers, like their competitive careers. But can go out raving, sober. What? Like, I'm like, I need to be doing this. I would love to be able to go. I love raving. That's the thing. My problem is I like raving. So when you go raving, things happen. For me to be able to be in a point where I can go to a rave and drink water, I'm thinking, do you know what, that looks great. You're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to have a nice breakfast, you're going to go gym, you're going to feel great, and you've burnt about 1,000 calories raving. Listen to your favourite music, do you know what I mean? That doesn't happen, does it? No. I go out raving, I'm still awake at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I spend about 4 days recovering. Yep. And I go, oh, that was a good night. Well, the rest of the week wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Bank balance is
so
bad.
I would love, and I do, and I look at people and I admire them. Whereas before, years ago, in my 20s, my face like, what, you don't drink? You know, the culture, it's completely right. It's a culture thing. We're seen as, I mean, I went to Ibiza recently and I met a lot of people from different places. And they were like, oh, what did you come for? And one of the lads was like, we've come in for the drugs. This is one of the English lads.
Really?
And the other cultures were like, we don't even drink. Like, we've come here to, and I'm like, well, you've come to Ibiza, you don't drink, you don't, like, what are you doing here? They're like, we're coming in for the clubs and everything. And that's when I was like, wow, this is actually just, it is an English people thing. I really do think it is, yeah.
It really is.
And I've been brought up around drink. Yeah. My family are drinkers, you know, and I grew up in the pub and I know how to play darts and I know how to play pool, you know what I mean?
Yeah, snap.
That was my sports when I was a child.
Yeah, but it's all changed. But
and I suppose it's nice as well for you to have someone that maybe is from has a different outlook.
100%. Yeah. It's amazing when you go out there. They don't really drink like we do to excess.
No, which is the way it should be done.
Should be
in a healthy, moderate way.
But being an addict's brain, it's like, what's the point in that?
Yeah,
that's the way it works.
I get it.
But yeah, it's difficult. But yeah, the main thing for me about it all is really that that no one's judged me for what I've done, like speaking out. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the most worrying thing at the start, like going back to what you said earlier, is that you've admitted that you've got a problem, you've admitted that you've got these demons and you've got these things inside you that force you to do these things, because it can be helped and it can't. People think that it's something that you can just switch on and off. It's not. It's hard to get away from. But the best thing that I could say to anyone to do is just to talk out, and you wouldn't realise how supportive like your family is, your friends would be. You will get people judging you, but you get people judging you when you drink and use anyway. So it's the same thing. I think
as well, do you know what? When you're using, when you're drinking, everyone knows you're lying.
Everyone judges you anyway.
Everyone judges you because you're lying. And they know you're lying. You know, we can smell the alcohol. We can see the stuff around your nose. We know we've got no money. We know the lies are coming. Yeah. So looking from an outsider as looking in on someone that is using, is trying to hide it. Most of us already know that you're using anyway. You're going to get judged at your worst then. So speaking honestly and saying, actually, I need help, doesn't, you know, being vulnerable and being able to say, yeah, I've got myself. Everyone makes mistakes, and everyone. Do you know what? I'll be honest. I think most people have had problems with addictions in their life. They might not necessarily be drugs, it might not be alcohol, but everyone has had different addictions that they've battled themselves. And if they're going to stand there and judge you, then that's the worst person in the room, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, people judge me for doing what I'm doing now. You know, people say, "Oh, why don't you drink? Why can't you drink normally? Or why can't you?" And it's well, you judge me when I'm not drinking. Now you're judging me for drinking. Then it's like, well, which ones you want?
You're not doing no wrong for right, really.
So you just let them get on with it.
You've got to look at what version you prefer, really, isn't it?
I prefer this version. I really do. Like what you said a minute ago. You know, to go out all night, 8 o'clock in the morning, still going. Then you sleep all day, and then you do the same again. Then your weekend's ruined. You've spent a load of money. I've got money in the bank now. I've got a happy life. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm at peace. I really feel like I'm at peace. My head's clear. My business is going well. There's just things that are happening and doors are opening that I don't know why they're opening, because like I said at the meetings, I feel like I don't deserve it. But people are like, well, you've changed, so you do deserve these things and accept it.
Good energy you put out attracts good energy.
Yeah,
what
it does.
You put out comes back, and I'm a massive believer on that, whether it's on a religious level or, you know, a energy level. I believe that completely. Yeah. The more that you dwell on things, the more negative you are, the more negative that will come back to you, and 100%. And that's the path you've opened for yourself. And everyone should be encouraged to understand that as well. That's something a lot of people do understand. I think they live in that sort of like dark place and think negatively. It's not just going to suddenly open up. Although your position might have had your wife. But you know, like for instance, like some people just obviously feel like they can't. They're bad luck. Like they've got this bad, you know, they've obviously got the worst luck in the world, and nothing ever gets better for them. They might have lost family members like you did and gone through these really dark times and not know how to pull themselves out of that situation, and not have that light bulb moment like you did, sort of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the main thing. I mean, like when I started the meetings, I used to hear all the time. People used to say it all the time. They used to go, time will pass," and you think, well, shut the fuck up, mate. Do you know what I mean? You're only a few days in, and you know you still want to drink and you whatever else, and again it will pass. Time will heal. It will, and it does. And that's the. But when you like you said, when you're in that dark place, dark sort of area, like it feels like you're in a box and you've got no one, and that's the hardest thing to get out of that box. But you know, the only way that I can sort of break that down is like when you're in that box, but if you open the lid, you've got the light, and the light opens up, and then you know there's a way out. Yeah, and there is a way out. Do you know what I mean? The proof's in the pudding. I've done it. Now I can't sit here and say that I'll never drink again because I'm an addict or an alcoholic. I can't sit here and say that because I don't know what the future holds. Yeah. But at the moment, I've got my tools in place. I've got people that I speak to, like my sponsor. You know, he's brilliant. He's good for me. He's younger than me. Hey. Yeah, which doesn't make any difference. Yeah. But
so what is the sponsor?
So basically a sponsor is, so when you go to the meetings, you basically, the people sponsor. So basically they teach me through my 12 steps. Okay. So I work for a program, which I'm doing at the moment, which helps me learn about myself, actually who I am. Because like what you said earlier, I don't really know who I am. I haven't got a clue who I am because I've just been on another fucking planet. Do you know what I mean?
Pissed
Away
up.
with the fairies, pissed up, being a fucking idiot. But I'm slowly figuring out who I am. You know, I've, you know, like when I won the competition, I break down in tears. You know, in my wife's arms. I was crying for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I've never felt like that. I've never
had that feeling before.
Never had it. Do you know what I mean? I've played football, won matches, but obviously gone on the piss after. Do you know what I mean? Never had it. But to be sober and clean and feel that, and look, I mean, like the following day, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and I looked at the trophy and I cried my eyes out.
Yeah.
And it's like, fucking wow. Do you know what I mean? And
you're only just experiencing those emotions now because you've sort of numbed your experience for the last however long with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think people think that actually drugs and alcohol heightens your experience. It doesn't.
No. They call it in CA and A, they actually call it a spiritual awakening. It's nothing to do with religious aspects of it.
Yeah.
They call it like a God, a greater power than yourself. So it might be, like you said, a religious aspect. It could be any religious aspect, or it could be like, for my example, it might be my nan.
Yeah.
You know, it could be anything. So it's just a higher power that you talk to. And that's the spiritual awakening you get. I mean, I've had so many weird things happen to me. I mean,
Go on then, tell us a few.
I had one the other week. I was on the phone to one of the other lads in CA and he's like, mate, you're doing so well. Because I've only relapsed once. But the thing is, it's a learning curve. Do you know what I mean? This program's a learning curve. There's only a minute percentage of people that get it the first time. Because it's a learning curve. You might do something, fall off the wagon, but then you'd re-look at what you've done and what you haven't done to obviously put it back in the programme to go, right, well, that's where I fucked up. I need to reevaluate it. But I had one of the lads phone me out the other week and he's like, mate, you're not even anywhere near getting through. I'm only halfway through the programme.
Right.
And he's like, mate, so many things are happening to you. Work's going well. You've just won your competition. You're going to go into this. You're looking good shape, blah, blah. And he said the doors have not even opened. And as soon as he said that, the lights went off in the house.
No.
Spotlights went on one by one. I've run into you, haven't I? And said the lights go off. And she said, yeah. And she just went, he's watching.
Yeah.
But it was...
What a rush, though.
It was...
like, belly in your bum
had to run off. But yeah, I've had loads of... They call it like... I call them like God shots. Like just little things that, you know, remind me that I'm on the right path.
Recognise those moments and take those as massive, like, you know, positives, like ticks. And so, like, if you're in the wrong frame of mind, you would overlook things like that normally. So to have your eyes opened is really important. And like as I say, it's not necessarily a religious or a spiritual. It's literally just seeing gratitude every day. Just go,
that's what I have to.
That just happened. I mean, I saw a squirrel this morning. I saw a squirrel and he was carrying a conker and he was waiting for me to drive.
Happy, wasn't he?
And he was looking at a squirrel. This little squirrel with a conker in his mouth was waiting for me to drive down the road before he crossed over. And I thought, do you know what? That's bloody brilliant. It just made me smile. And do you know what? If I was in one of my bad moods in a bad way, I'd have drove past that squirrel and not even cared about him. But this morning, literally, walked back in the house after being to the gym. I just smiled and I just thought, do you know what? It's just like a little like moment of innocence and a bit of like just something that put a smile on my face. It was such a small thing, but it set me up for the rest of the day because I just had gratitude for it. I just thought I could have just looked over something.
I have to do it every day, like I said with my sponsor. So he's like my teacher. Yeah. So he takes me through everything, but I have to.
So is this someone that's already been through recovery?
Yeah, he's done his program. He's run it all, and then the 12th step is to give it back to the following addict and the alcoholic.
Oh, that's amazing.
So you give back what you've learned to the next person. It's a free program, do you know what I mean? It doesn't cost anything. So that's the beauty of it, really. You're teaching someone for free, but I have to send him a gratitude list every day. So I have to have 3 goals every day, and then I have to send him gratitude for what I was for yesterday. So it could be anything, I don't know, roof over my head or money in my bank or... I don't know, going to the gym and talking, you know, just grateful for things that have made you smile throughout the day. Yeah, seeing a squirrel, prime example.
You put that in tomorrow.
Didn't drop his nut. But yeah, no, it is good. And you don't realise until you start writing these things down what you're actually grateful for in life.
Definitely.
And a gratitude list does help massively.
Yeah. So I'd read a book actually about four years ago called The Secret.
Yeah.
And that was a life-changing moment for me because as soon as I started recognising those positive moments, my life completely changed. Like my career just went crazy. My gym just went crazy. Like, I felt good about myself. I was happy. My children were happy. And, you know, going home as a mum when you're not happy is horrible because you know it's impacting your children. So seeing how happy I was, a better parent. I was a better, like, person. And that was literally just the gratitude list.
Yeah.
Like, and manifesting moments and knowing and pre-planning in my head. One of the tasks was something silly like, today get a free coffee. And it was just like, you like, shut up. So I did it. And I said, right, I'm manifesting this moment. And to me, I thought it would be me going into McDonald's and someone going, here's a free coffee. So I go into work. One of my clients I used to do now, she very much says, Tez, what do you want to drink? I'm going coffee. I've been doing her nails for 3 years. She's never bought me a coffee once. She's like, Tez, do you want a coffee? I was like, hang on a minute. I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I was literally like, this is making me feel spooky. And from then on, honestly, that was like my first tick, because then I was like, right, now I'm changing my life. And I started manifesting everything that's happened till this point today. Yeah. I've made things happen. Yeah. Whether that's a spiritual thing or whether it's just because I've worked hard enough to make that happen, I don't know. No. But the coffee I didn't work hard for. Do you know what I mean? That turned up. So what are your plans now? I think you've got another show in 4 or 5 days, right?
5 days, yes. I've got
BPA.
BPA, yes. Is it Dr. Vic's or something?
Dr. Vic's show, yes.
Yeah.
Qualifier for next year, I believe.
I've got that next week, which I'll put on a bit of weight for that, so I need to get running tonight. And then, the following week in Holland for the GP, what is it now? GBA now. So, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a good experience.
Oh, sorry, no, the one in Holland is GPO.
GPO, oh, right, okay.
Yeah, no, that one's not changed yet.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a good experience. And then,
is the whole team going like there's Matt out there and everyone?
Matt, I don't think Matt's going to that.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got something in Italy or something. I think he's doing something. I'm not too sure, but I spoke to him yesterday. But I don't know where it's going to take me, to be honest with you. The main thing for me is just, I just want to help people now. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm really...
There's a lot of healing and giving back.
There is. I mean, you wouldn't believe, like, the amount of... I've had, like, the local gym, like the Village, they've who I train with, they've contacted me, and I've obviously gone on the website, and it's just nice to be in the gym and people come up to me and say, like, oh, I struggle with this and I struggle with that and blah, blah, blah. Just people come up to you now. I mean, at the last show, I'm not going to say any names, but I had 3 people come up to me saying that they suffered with addiction problems, drinking drugs. But the hindsight of it, all of this stuff is, what annoys me the most in this day and age is you get all these, how can we put it, all these big companies and that will say, look, we focus on mental health, we focus on this, and we focus on that. Well, all their employees are so scared to talk out because they might lose their job.
Oh,
and it shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that, because at the end of the day, if that person's got a problem, you should be helping them.
Yeah.
All right? And there's so many things going on. For me now, I'm blessed, really. Like, my clients that I've got my work for through my business, they know. I've told them. I've gone to the point where I don't care anymore. I don't give a shit. They either want to use me or they don't, and that's it. And that's the way the world should be. The minute things start going wrong, then you don't use that person. But if that person's got a problem with them, a problem, addiction problem, or something, or the disease that we have, you shouldn't just get rid of them, because that's not fair. I mean, if I come to them and said I had cancer, that's a disease, they wouldn't get rid of me then, would they?
Yeah,
so
I
it's very, very, because we have in the meetings, we have like a yellow card statement, which is like, what you hear here stays here, blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. And it's damaging for your reputation, basically. If you talk out, it's damaging.
Right, okay.
And I just think that's totally fucking wrong in my eyes, because it is an issue. Do you know what I mean? Children suffer with it. Do you know what I mean? Young kids, I'm not going to mention names.
If you're in a situation where you're the first person, I think, because I'm very open, I'm so honest. I'm a bit too honest, to be honest, because there is it's literally, this is what you see, this is what you get. But I do find I've been in different work environments and had an open conversation about something, and then other women or other people in that group have started to talk about certain things. Just because you've openly said something might have happened, or you might have done something, and then that other person feels so much more comfortable to be open with you, and not judged. Like we said before, the judgment is just the worst feeling, to be judged. I've judged myself more than anyone
Yeah,
I don't really care what you've got to say. If you whatever you've said, I've said 10 times worse to myself. So that's just how I feel about it personally. I'm quite thick-skinned. It doesn't really bother me anymore. It didn't like when I was younger, but obviously like having that honesty is really important, and being able to feel comfortable to say I fucked up, but here I am. I'm back. I've recovered. Everyone loves a comeback story.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's a beautiful thing with obviously the anonymous programs that, you know, as soon as you walk through that door, you can say what you want. You can literally say what you want, and there's not one person in there that will. Well, there's not one person in there that probably hasn't done the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we had a share last night, and they were talking about a lot of things, and I came in and said to the missus, I shuddered. Because I actually experienced what he was talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, using, you know, once my children were there or stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And it made me go cringe almost, like, ugh.
Like reliving.
Yeah, and but those are the things that as an addict, as you get better, you need to hear them.
Yeah.
Because it reminds you of how dark and how despair it was and how disgusting it was, that what the things that you were doing.
Yeah.
And it sort of refreshes your brain. It resets it, like, oh, God, that's not normal. Do you know what I mean?
I suppose really it's like, you know, sort of like an abusive relationship with you know, you only remember those good parts until someone reminds you. So someone else in the room says, do you remember when he did this? Do you remember when he done that? So when you're in that environment and you're like, you might have that urge, I just want a line.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, that's going to bring you back to sitting up at 4 o'clock in the morning while your kids are upstairs. And then you're, oh no, I don't want to be in that situation again. But
yeah, it's nice. It's honestly, it's the best, like I said, for... Gosh, I'm 39, so I've been doing it. I think I had my first joint when I was 16. I remember I had a joint when I was 16 because I had my moped and I was stoned out my head. On a moped, smoking a joint, riding down the hill, like hands were going up in the air. And I was stoned out my head, and then obviously it spurred on from that. But yeah, the drinking.
Do you think that was your gateway was having that joint that day?
No, not really, because the missus is from New York and it's legal in New York, so I could go there and have a joint and I'd be all right. Yeah, that wasn't my go-to.
You're not an addict out there.
But not for cannabis. I could have a edible and that'd be it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it, but it's mainly the alcohol for me.
Yeah.
That's my biggest killer, the alcohol. You know, I can't go out and just I'll have a meal and a glass of wine. It's got to be 2 bottles and shots, and that's it. I'm off. So
you have to sort of get yourself in a completely like out of your face.
That's it. Yeah. That's my aim. That's my goal. That's the truth. Do you know what I mean? There's no point in beating around the bush.
No, exactly. So there's no point in even just having the one drink.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's the point, but it's just nice. Do you know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it. That I think now that's a nice thing that I can talk about it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not scared to talk about it, because that's the hardest part, is when you hold it back. For me, when you hold it back, that's the thing. And then you have a drink, and then you put this mask on, because it always reminds me of the film like Jim Carrey, The Mask. You have that drink, the mask goes on, and that's not you. You don't know who you are.
No.
And then that's why I'm working out now what I'm actually like and what I can be like and things I can do. I mean, I'm not innocent. No one's fucking innocent. I'm not perfect.
No one is.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not fucking Mr.
The ones
Perfect.
that pretend they're the perfect ones are the worst bloody ones as well. Yeah. They really are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I understand when you say about the mask, like obviously like playing different characters in your life, like putting on that mask and saying, I'm the fun one.
Yeah.
I'm the one in the group that's going to make everyone laugh, And I completely understand that. I feel like I'm the same when I've had a drink, to be completely honest. But yeah, I mean, your story really did. I did listen to it, and I did feel very like emotional and very like proud of what you've done.
Yeah, thank you.
And obviously, I don't understand from a personal level. I have never felt like I have an addiction problem. However, I have grown up with addicts in my family, and they've never recovered. So to come from where you are,
yeah, it's very, very.
For you to come back from that is amazing. Yeah.
Oh, bless you. Do you want some tissue? Tissue? You all right? You all right? Is that a close family, was it? Or? No, you're right. It's hard, isn't it, when it's like that? And that's the thing. I know this is very selfish of me, but for me to see you like that actually helps me, because it makes me realise what I've put people through. So I'm grateful to see that today. I am. Do you know what I mean? And it's good that you can show your emotions because it makes me feel like how selfish I've been. Do you know what I mean? To my family and my friends.
No, I don't think it's not selfish because, like you said, it's an illness, and it's something that I think, like, especially the older generation. The older generation.
Get makeup in.
Men particularly haven't had that support for mental health.
Not for a long time. No.
A hell of a long time. So the stuff that people might have dealt with then when they were younger, they've never spoke about still, and they're still they still might. They're not at that age where it was captured early enough for them to recover because they're past that. They might feel like they're past that stage in their life where they can recover. Right. Anyway, back in the room.
Where's the board?
Cut. Just thank you so much for coming today. And we want to just try and get the message across about, reach out. If you're struggling, there's like groups, there's the obviously CA, AA, the Samaritans. There's lots of Milton Keynes and Man Cave especially, Bedford, Northampton, reaching out to, I think they're reaching out even further now. Any charities in your sort of area that you use? Is it CA mostly?
We just use CA. I mean, and if anybody's like struggling for, cocaine, alcohol, narcotics, whatever, just type in just CA meetings.
Yeah, so they're everywhere, all over the UK.
They're all over the UK, they're all over the world.
Oh, okay.
So I've been to America, they're everywhere.
Okay.
So wherever you are, if you're in, Europe,
so if
type
you're travelling,
meeting,
you can go and
there,
see meetings when you're away and stuff
anywhere,
like that. That's
anywhere
amazing.
in the world. So again, it's not publicised enough. It should be. Do you know what I mean? Because it saves lives. It really does save lives.
Does. If you want to be in a safe space and be able to talk about, and get the help that you need and not necessarily reach out to your family members as well. Yeah. If you're still in that hiding process where you don't want people to know, at least you can go to a group where everyone's going to be on the same page as you and they're going to support you. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I know it's a long journey today for you, so thank you so much for coming in. And I will see you again at the show next week when you win again.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
And then I'll see you on the TV when you win in Holland.
Hopefully.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
That's all right, thank you.
All right.